now I'm going to do a deconstruction of the argument made for me by Mythek, who is quoting a Russian historian, if you're one of my friends, I told you about as a crazy Russian guy who believes that Emperor Jesus Christ ruled us in about the 11th century. I know, it makes sense to me as well now, someone finally explained it to me. Right, so yeah, I sent him a comment on his video, which was basically along the lines of history fail. I don't remember exactly, and I can't be asked to find it, so it's probably something along the lines of history fail. As and when I can be able to find out, I'll tell you guys. But yeah, he then came back to me with a message, which I posted on my Facebook, but because it was longer than, say, a sentence, most of my friends didn't read it, because they don't read things, they wait for the movie to come out. And as this guy's an idiot, I don't think there'll be a movie about him. Unless there's one like this one criticising him. So, I'm going to not read it out, I'm going to abbreviate the entire letter for you in about 6 minutes-ish. Maybe 7. Who knows, depending how bored I get. Right, okay. Let's just start the letter, shall we? Right. First of all, it starts quoting him on all his maths degrees and how many things he's published in mathematical, peer-reviewed articles and things like that. He has 180 apparently, and 26 monographs and textbooks on mathematics. There we go. That's fair enough. You can be an amazing mathematician. Doesn't mean you can be a historian. I know it says on my page I'm a physicist, but, you know, I once did history, and even though you're meant to question every historical source, it gets to a point where you're not really questioning sources, you're making shit up. This guy. Right. After him quoting how great he is, because, you know, obviously a person who can do maths can do history. Anyway, he then goes on to quote two philosophers for no real apparent reason, other than the fact that they, in their philosophical arguments, they question history. And judging by I did philosophy is just specialised bullshit. I don't mean to piss on any philosophers, but that's basically what it is. Some of you can be very, very good at it, but it hasn't achieved really that much in human time span, where science has had, we'll be generous and say 400 years and has achieved a hell of a lot more than you have in 2000. But, moving on. Yeah, quotes two philosophers, and then goes on to talk about antiquity. Now, this is where he uses ancient Greek astronomy notes to figure out when they were made. And one thing he doesn't seem to realise is that the galactic shift. He's using astronomy notes and where they are in relation to known stars, which barely move in the sky. However, these change from time to time. So he basically has just epically failed in logic. If you're wondering what that bleep was, it's because every 3 minutes I need to change, basically just take everything out of the camera and put it back in. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So yes, he uses Greek astronomy notes, which would be inaccurate by today's standards because as the Earth is moving through the galaxy, the points at which the stars are going to be change, which is fairly obvious if you think about it, because 3,000 odd years ago when the Egyptians, well no, it'd be longer than that now, basically, when the Egyptians were around, we were so far in a different place in the galaxy, therefore all the stars we know and can track would be all in different positions because we're moving through the galaxy. It's a fairly obvious thing if you think about it, but he doesn't, and then therefore says the Egyptians were around about the 16th century, apparently, which doesn't make a lot of sense. By, you know, carbon dating all those mummies, we can figure out that they probably were, you know, died a long time ago before that. But I digress. He then goes on, so everything up until now, you can sort of see, Greek and Romans are fairly similar, therefore, you can sort of see where he's going with that. The Dark Ages, maybe, I mean, even though we can find swords and burial mounds which date back to that era, you can sort of see where he was going with they can't be real, but this is where his argument just fails hideously. He says that all coins of antiquity, so like the Greek, the Roman, Persia, any sort of civilization which was in the ancient times, he says all those coins were manufactured in the 15th century by monks. All of them. I don't know how you can be so deluded that you think all coins were manufactured by a load of conspiracy theorists with nothing better to do with their time in the 15th century than make coins. They then goes on to say that all the statues in Greek were made by the Renaissance artists. When the Renaissance artists ate the Greek structures, the logic failed there, it doesn't make any sense. And also, let's go back to the pyramids, built in the 15th century by fucking slave owners. well, technically they weren't slaves. They've discovered that now. It was like willing family members. But the point is, that much building going on in ancient Egypt in the 15th century. Oh, come on, please. No. Another thing he claims is that every single Roman art structure throughout the whole of Europe was constructed by these conspiracy theorists. I mean, how thorough were they? They went to the top of fucking Scotland and built a foot-high wall. This is what this guy is saying to you. And people take it like as fact because he's vaguely good at maths. Just because you can count doesn't mean you can figure out things like this. I mean, obviously, question historical sources, but don't go this fucking far and say everything's a conspiracy theory. When you go to that extent, it makes no fucking sense. Conspiracy theory, everything is a conspiracy theory. Or, your idea is wrong, mate. That's the end of it. I mean, I know I'm getting a bit worked up about this. I used to do history, so this is why I'm getting worked up. I'm running out of time on my second 3-minute thing, so I might as well wrap it up now. I don't even know your fucking name. Russian dude, you're insane. All 18 of your books is bullshit. Okay? I'm Gavite. See the entire world later.